Okay, so we're going to go through the import process with some simple transactions. I'm going to start by looking at the Excel file. So initially this was the list of transactions that we're going to receive from a calculation or an exercise that we do in Excel. So these are the lines. We have currently 24 lines in this journal. And if I go out to the journal, to this tab, I can see that this is where we have the Access Dimensions import template. So these are the column headers that we have within Dimensions. And from this then I've mapped these to fields on the first sheet. So you can see I'm just putting in a statement to say that if the value is blank in the reference cell, then just enter a blank here. Otherwise, put in the value in the reference cell. So if I have a look back at my sheet here, I can see that where I have the values, they're being copied across. So we have the voucher date, for example, copying down, and then when we get to the first blank, you can see that's because there is no value in cell B33 on this sheet. Okay, so we continue the similar exercise out all the way through for all of those cells, out as far as the values, and then beyond into the details, and then we have to look at recording a second base value. So that's the old 0.2 euro exchange rate, and we're converting back to the IEP value. There's still a second base currency held on Dimensions, so if we import a transaction without a second base value, it will import, but it will just complain. It'll give an error message. So just to avoid that, I include the value. So once I have all of my values recorded in the spreadsheet, I need to save the sheet. So I just go File and Save As. In this instance, I'm going to save it as a text tab delimited type file, and we give it a name. So in this instance, I'm just going to call it Journal Test 2017-12-11. So today's date, basically. I save that, and if I come out then to browse to the file, I can see that this is my file just created right now. I'm going to copy that, and because I don't have Dimensions on this computer, I'm going to jump to the server where I have Dimensions and the import program installed. I'm going to drop in this file. I'm going to go and launch the import program, and as per the notes, we need to hold down on the control key, click on More, and then type in our password. We're going to the training database in this instance, and then we need another password here. We log on. So we've now logged on to the import program. We're going to click on the company up here, click on Import, come down to Nominal Ledger. We're not importing records, we're importing a journal. We would like to batch that journal. We click OK. So the first time around, the system is asking, do you wish to validate the nominal journals? We'll say yes. And it allows us to browse to where we have that nominal journal saved, which is here. We click on Open, and it runs through. So now let's just review the error messages. So you'll see that it's accepted 24 lines, and then it's rejected 11 lines. And if we just read down through the lines, you see the first line it's rejected, the first row number is row 25. And if we were to go back for a moment to our Excel file, you'll see that row 25 has a value, but of course we also have a header up here, so we ignore the header. So then that becomes row 24 in effect. And row 25 is this one here. And you'll see that it's blank, but there is still text in it as far as the system is concerned, as far as import is concerned. It can see that there are blank values being represented here, and in fact we have blank values all the way down to row 36, but that's effectively row 35. So going back into our import list, we'll see that we have errors stretching all the way down as far as row 35. The errors repeat themselves. You'll see the errors tell me that I need a voucher reference, I need a nominal account code, I need a value that's not zero, a second base value, a debit or credit flag, etc. So basically it's finding that we have text or even though it's blank, it is text in each of those cells or rows from row 25 through to 35. There's no errors in the earlier rows though, which means that we actually have a good import at this stage. So in this instance, I'm confident, or I'm happy to accept these errors as they are. They're not going to prevent me from importing the file, so I can just close that down. So I'm back onto my import screen. I click OK once again. This time when I'm asked, do I wish to validate, I'll say no. Pick up my file once again. I click on Open. And this time around, it has actually imported the data, still giving me back the same errors as previously. So if I go into the database now, and I go to Financials, Journals, rather go to Post Batch and Journals. And if we look at all of our journals, we should have one journal in here. And if we edit on that, we should have all of our lines coming through for each of those, and our totals should agree to the total we had in our initial journal, which if we look back here, okay, so that's 102722, and our journal here is 102722, so that's a successful import.